Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the world of rare coins, offering tips and tricks for you to get the most value from your coin collection. Today, we have something truly spectacular that could change your financial future: the 1968 no-mint mark Washington $quarter coin. This coin, which might seem like an ordinary quarter to most, is anything but ordinary. In fact, it's worth up to $1.8 million. But how does a simple quarter like this end up with such an extraordinary price tag? Let's take a deep dive into this fascinating coin and discover its true worth. To understand the value of the 1968 no-mint mark Washington quarter, we need to take a quick journey back in time. The year was 1968. The United States was in the midst of a period of change, politically and socially. The Vietnam War was ongoing, and the country was experiencing significant cultural shifts. On a more positive note, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins, including the iconic Washington quarter. The design of the Washington quarter, which was first introduced in 1932, features a profile of George Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan. On the reverse, we see an eagle, symbolizing the strength and unity of the United States. This design remained unchanged throughout the years, but what makes the 1968 no-mint mark quarter so unique? Normally, quarters minted in 1968 would have a mint mark. A mint mark is a small letter on the coin, typically located near the eagle on the reverse. It indicates where the coin was minted. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint, for example, often do not have a mint mark. But the 1968 no-mint mark Washington quarter is an anomaly. Now, what makes this no-mint mark feature so significant? Well, it all boils down to rarity. In 1968, coins that were minted in Philadelphia typically had no mint mark, while those from Denver would have a D mint mark, and San Francisco coins would be marked with an S. This 1968 no-mint mark quarter was part of a unique batch of coins, and not all of them made it into circulation. Some were accidentally skipped in the minting process, which is where the rarity comes into play. Now you might be wondering, how does this rarity translate into value? Well, rare coins are highly sought after by collectors, especially if the minting error is well documented and verified. In fact, over the years, this 1968 no-mint mark Washington quarter has been sold at auctions for an impressive $1.8 million. One of the most notable sales took place at a prestigious auction house, where the coin was sold to a private collector who recognized its extraordinary worth. So, how do you identify if your 1968 Washington quarter is the rare no-mint mark variety? Let's break it down. First, grab your magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe and closely examine the reverse of your coin, where the mint mark should be located. The lack of a mint mark should be obvious. If there's nothing there, then you might have a valuable coin on your hands. Check for signs of wear and tear. Coins in mint condition, especially uncirculated ones, will fetch the highest prices. A coin that is well preserved, with no scratches, dents, or discoloration, will be worth more than a worn-out one. Now, condition is key. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. A quarter in pristine condition could push its value even higher, so make sure you take care of it and store it properly. Consider having your coin professionally graded. Professional grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can evaluate your coin's authenticity and grade. A high-grade 1968 no-mint mark Washington quarter, especially if it's in perfect condition, can really skyrocket in value. But it doesn't end there. The value of your coin is also influenced by demand. Coin collectors and investors often flock to auctions where rare pieces like this are sold. If you're lucky enough to find a 1968 no-mint mark Washington quarter, your first step should be to consult with a trusted coin dealer or get an appraisal from a professional. In some cases, these coins have been purchased by investors who see them as more than just a collectible. They view them as a solid investment. As the years pass, coins like the 1968 no-mint mark Washington quarter could become even more valuable. So, if you have one of these rare 1968 no-mint mark quarters, what should you do next? First, verify its authenticity. Second, get it graded to know its exact value. Third, carefully store it and keep an eye on the market. The demand for rare coins is only growing, and who knows? You could be sitting on a small fortune. To wrap it up, the 1968 no-mint mark Washington quarter dollar is a prime example of how a simple error in the minting process can lead to a coin that's worth more than $1.8 million. So check your pockets, and if you happen to stumble upon one of these rare beauties, you could be the next big coin collector to cash in. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more in-depth looks at rare and valuable coins. Who knows what other hidden gems you might find? 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter dollar. Stick around to find out why this quarter could make you a millionaire. Cue engaging intro graphic with channel logo. First off, let's break down what makes the 1966 Washington quarter dollar so special. As most of you know, the U.S. Mint stamps a mint mark on coins to indicate where they were produced. In 1966, a handful of Washington quarters were minted without any mint mark. The usual suspects, like the D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco, were absent, leading to a very rare and valuable mistake. Show a close-up image of a 1966 Washington quarter with no mint mark. Now, to understand why this error is so valuable, we need to look at how the U.S. Mint works. Every coin is supposed to be marked with a mint mark. But in 1966, for some unknown reason, some quarters were mistakenly left without one. This error didn't happen in large quantities, making these quarters extremely rare. So why is this particular 1966 no-mint mark quarter worth so much? It's all about scarcity and the rarity of the coin. When the U.S. Mint makes a mistake, collectors go crazy for it. They see an opportunity to own a piece of history. And with only a few of these error coins ever making it into circulation, it's no surprise that they fetch a hefty price at auction. Show a picture of an auction listing for a 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter. In fact, in recent years, a 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter sold for a record-breaking $1.7 million at a prestigious auction. This particular coin was graded in mint state condition, meaning it was essentially perfect with little to no signs of wear. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Now, let's talk about coin condition. When it comes to rare coins like this 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter, condition is everything. You've probably heard the term graded coins before. Well, coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. Show an example of a coin grading scale. Coins in lower condition, say, with a lot of scratches or wear, can still have value, but they won't command nearly the same price. The higher the grade, especially coins that are near perfect, the more valuable they become. For example, a coin graded as MS65 or higher is considered in great shape, while one graded as MS70 would be a true gem. The coin that sold for $1.7 million was graded as MS67, which means it was nearly flawless. But why is the Washington quarter such an iconic coin, and why does this mistake with the mint mark matter so much? Well, the Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, honoring the first U.S. President, George Washington. Over the years, it's become one of the most recognizable coins in American currency. Show footage of George Washington's image on the quarter. Collectors have been avidly seeking out quarters from all years and mint marks, especially those that have errors or unique characteristics. The 1966 Washington quarter, with its accidental omission of the mint mark, caught the attention of collectors, and as the coin aged, its rarity increased. Okay, so how can you identify this rare 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter in your own collection? It's actually pretty easy, at least compared to some other rare coins. Show close-up image of the reverse and obverse sides of a 1966 Washington quarter. First, flip the coin over and look for the mint mark. If there's no mint mark on the reverse side, you've got the coin we're talking about. Remember, most 1966 Washington quarters will have the D mint mark for Denver, or the S for San Francisco. If there's nothing, well, congratulations, you could be holding on to a rare gem. Now, before you start celebrating, it's important to have your coin authenticated. Unfortunately, there are many fakes out there, and you don't want to find out the hard way that your $1,000,000 coin is just a replica. So how do you authenticate it? Show footage of a professional coin dealer examining a coin. You should take your coin to a professional numismatist, a coin expert, who can evaluate the coin's authenticity. They'll use special tools to examine the coin and may even send it to a grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, for official certification. With such a rare coin, you might be wondering what the market for these 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarters looks like. Well, even though not all of them will sell for $1.7 million, high-quality coins are still worth a lot of money. Show footage of a coin auction or dealers looking at rare coins. Depending on the condition and whether it has been professionally graded, these coins can range anywhere from $100,000 to $1.7 million. The price tag depends on factors like rarity, demand, and of course, the grade. It's definitely a hot market for rare coins right now, and if you find one, it's a great time to sell. So, you've found one of these valuable 1966 no-mint mark quarters. What's the next step? How do you sell it and get top dollar? Show footage of a coin seller and buyer negotiating. First, get it graded by a professional service. Once you have your coin's grade, you can either sell it privately to collectors or take it to an auction house that specializes in rare coins. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers regularly sell high-value coins, and they can help you get the best price for your coin. Well, there you have it, folks. The incredible story of the 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter dollar worth up to $1.7 million. If you think you might have one of these rare coins, don't hesitate to get it checked out. Who knows, you could be holding a piece of American history worth a fortune. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more rare coin content. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you have any questions about the 1966 no-mint mark quarter. 1971 D Washington quarter dollar coin, worth a whopping $1.8 million. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just be checking your pockets for one of these. To understand why this coin is worth so much, we first need to dive into its background. The 1971 D Washington quarter was part of the U.S. Mint's efforts to commemorate the legacy of George Washington. The quarter features a portrait of Washington on the obverse, and the reverse depicts an eagle, which is a symbol of American strength and independence. But what makes the 1971 D unique? Well, it's not just about its design, but rather about an error that occurred during its minting, which has made this particular coin incredibly valuable. Now, let's talk about the mint error. In 1971, the U.S. Mint was operating at full capacity, producing billions of coins to meet the demand of a growing economy. However, due to a slight mistake in the production process, a small batch of 1971 D quarters was struck with a variety of unusual features. These errors weren't immediately noticed, and many of these quarters were released into circulation. So, what makes the 1971 D Washington quarter so valuable? Well, the key lies in the characteristics of the D mint mark. Some of the coins minted in Denver that year had a peculiar die clash error, which caused an unusually strong and distinct mint mark, giving it a much higher grade than others. Show close-up shots of high-grade coins, magnified for emphasis on mint mark and details. If you come across a 1971 D Washington quarter, there are a few things to look out for to determine if it's part of this valuable group. First, examine the mint mark closely. The D should be sharp and well-defined, without any sign of it being too worn or blurred. Another key feature is the condition of the coin. Many of these high-value quarters are in what's called mint state, meaning they were not circulated much or have minimal wear. The cleaner and crisper the coin looks, the higher the value. Coins with a higher grade can fetch millions, depending on their rarity and condition. What collectors are after in particular is the sharp detail of the Washington profile and the eagle on the reverse. Coins with minimal imperfections, like scratches or discoloration, will be worth far more. Display tips on how to inspect coins, with visuals showing different levels of wear. Now you might be wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these valuable coins in my collection? Here's a simple checklist. The mint mark should be clear and distinct. If you're unsure, use a magnifying glass to inspect it. The better the coin looks, the more valuable it is. Look for sharp details, especially around the Washington portrait and eagle. While this error is rare, some 1971D coins have visible die clash marks, where part of the minting die leaves an imprint of another part of the design. This error can dramatically increase the coin's worth. Use animations or infographics to illustrate how coin rarity and errors affect their price. So, why is this coin valued at $1.8 million? The short answer is rarity, condition, and collector demand. It all boils down to a few factors. Although millions of these coins were struck, only a few rare examples with the die clash error and mint mark clarity have survived in pristine condition. Coins in mint state, without significant wear, are highly sought after. High-grade examples of the 1971D are extremely rare, which drives up the price. Collector demand. The world of coin collecting is driven by collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for coins that complete their collections. This drives up the price for rare finds, especially when those finds are tied to historical significance like the Washington Quarter. Now that you know how to spot a valuable 1971D Washington Quarter, you might be wondering how to sell it if you have one. Here's a tip. The best way to get top dollar for your rare coin is to have it professionally graded by an organization like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. Once graded, you can either sell your coin at auction, through a reputable dealer, or even via private sale. Whether you find one of these quarters in a jar of change or inherit it from a family member, the 1971D Washington $quarter coin could be a hidden treasure worth millions. So, keep your eyes peeled and your magnifying glass ready. You could be sitting on a fortune. Thanks for watching, and remember to like, subscribe, and share if you want to learn more about rare coins and their incredible value. See you next time. End screen with channel logo and other video recommendations on coin topics. 1987D Washington $quarter coin. Is it really worth $1.4 million? Well, you're about to find out. Stick around, and I'll explain how this coin went from an everyday quarter to a massive collector's item. Let's start with the basics. The 1987D Washington Quarter is just like any other quarter you might find in your pocket. It was minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D mint mark located just to the right of George Washington's neck on the obverse side. The design itself features George Washington on the front, with the iconic eagle on the reverse side, which is a standard feature for quarters that has been around since, so nothing too extraordinary about the coin itself. But as with most rare coins, it's not about the design, but about the rarity and unique characteristics that set it apart from the rest of the mintage. Now, let's get to the exciting part. What makes the 1987D Washington Quarter worth $1.4 million? It all comes down to a very rare and unique minting error that occurred in a small number of these coins. While most 1987D quarters are worth face value, just 25 cents, there are a few that were mistakenly struck with a flaw that makes them extremely valuable to collectors. One of the rarest and most valuable versions of the 1987D quarter is the doubled die error. This minting mistake happens when the die used to strike the coins was misaligned, resulting in a double image of the design. On these coins, you can clearly see double images of Washington's features, his eye, nose, and even his hand holding the olive branch. This error is so rare that it's only found on a very small fraction of the 1987D quarters, making it highly sought after by collectors. Because of this mistake, some of these coins have sold for astronomical amounts, up to $1.4 million, depending on their condition and the degree of the error. Now, you might be thinking, how can I tell if I have one of these rare, valuable 1987D quarters? Well, let me walk you through the process of spotting a double die error. First, take a look at the details of George Washington's face. If you see a noticeable doubling of the features, like his eye or nose, it's a sign you might have a double-die coin. The same goes for the inscription around the coin, especially the word, liberty, and, in God we trust. If those letters appear doubled, you're in luck, but here's a crucial tip: not all doubled images are the result of a minting error. Some may just be natural wear and tear from regular circulation, so you'll want to look for sharp, clear doubling that's evenly spaced and doesn't show signs of being worn down. It's also a good idea to use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to examine the finer details of the coin. A magnified look will help you identify the true value of the doubling and distinguish it from other imperfections or damage. Okay, so you've found a 1987 quarter, and you think it might have a double die error. Now what? Well, it's time to consider the condition of the coin and how it's graded. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin's grade can significantly affect its value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. If you have a 1987 quarter with a double die error in pristine condition, you could be looking at a $1.4 million coin, as some of these error coins have been graded as high as MS 67, Mint State 67, or higher. But if your coin shows significant wear and tear, the value will be much lower. So, how do you get your coin graded? You can send it to a professional grading service, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. They'll assess the condition of the coin, assign a grade, and give it a certification label that verifies its authenticity. If you've got your hands on a 1987 Washington quarter with a double die error, congratulations. But what's next? How do you sell it and potentially make millions? The market for rare coins is huge, and there are many avenues you can explore. The most common way to sell valuable coins is through an auction house. Some of the most well-known auction houses, like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, regularly auction off rare coins, including error coins like the 1987 quarter. You can also look at online platforms like eBay, where collectors from all over the world buy and sell rare coins. Just be sure to get your coin authenticated and graded before listing it for sale, as this can help attract serious buyers. Remember, it's important to do your research and set a fair price. Coins like the 1987 quarter with a double die error have sold for significant amounts in the past, but market conditions can change. So there you have it. The 1987 Washington quarter dollar coin with a double die error could be worth up to $1.4 million, depending on its condition and rarity. If you've got one of these coins in your collection, or if you happen to stumble upon one, it could change your financial future. I hope this video helps you spot that hidden treasure in your change jar or coin collection. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into rare coins and how to turn your collection into a fortune. 1987 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin, worth a whopping $1.6 million. That's right, $1.6 million for a quarter. But what makes this coin so valuable? Stick around, and let's uncover the mystery behind it. Now you might be wondering, how could a quarter from 1987 possibly be worth so much? After all, it's not an ancient coin, right? But sometimes, it's not about the age or rarity alone, it's about the errors, rarities, and the conditions under which the coin was minted. Let's take a closer look at the 1987 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin and why it's valued at $1.6 million. First, let's talk about the minting process. The United States Mint produces billions of coins each year, but not every coin leaves the mint in perfect condition. In 1987, the U.S. Mint struck a huge number of Washington quarters, especially from the Philadelphia Mint, which is why you'll see the P Mint mark on many of these coins. These quarters were part of a larger collection minted from 1932 to 1998, and while most of them were produced in large quantities, there were still a few that slipped through the cracks, coins that were struck with imperfections, misprints, or oddities that would make them rare treasures for collectors. The 1987 P Mint Mark Washington quarter features the classic design we all recognize, George Washington's portrait on the obverse, and the iconic eagle with an olive branch on the reverse. But the real value of this coin comes from the minting error that happened during production. So, what's the big deal with the 1987 p quarter? The value of these quarters skyrockets due to an extremely rare minting error. A small number of these coins were produced with a misaligned die, which created a distorted or off-center strike, leaving certain elements of the design, like parts of Washington's face or the eagle on the reverse, barely visible or even completely missing. These errors are known as off-center coins, and they can be worth thousands, or in some rare cases, millions. Why are these errors so valuable? It's simple: rarity and demand. Collectors love coins with unique traits, and off-center strikes like these are highly sought after. As time goes on, the number of these coins in circulation continues to dwindle. With a limited supply and a growing demand for rare error coins, the value of the 1987 p Washington quarter has surged to over $1.6 million for the highest grade examples. Now, you might be wondering how you can identify a quarter like this in your own collection. Look for the P mint mark on the reverse side of the coin, under the eagle. But most importantly, check for the off-center error. These coins are often slightly tilted or misaligned, with part of the design missing. Some might even show a double strike or other types of errors. Of course, the condition of the coin matters. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher grades commanding higher values. A mint state 67, MS 67, grade or higher for the 1987 p quarter could push its value up to the $1.6 million mark. To achieve this kind of value, you'll need to have your coin professionally graded by organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. Now, if you find yourself in possession of a 1987 p Washington quarter with one of these minting errors, you might be wondering how to sell it for the highest price possible. The best option is to go through auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. These auction houses specialize in rare coins and have a global network of collectors eager to get their hands on valuable pieces. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, it's essential to protect your coins. Use protective holders or slabs to keep them in mint condition. Keep your coins in a cool, dry environment, away from sunlight, and make sure you handle them with care. Who knew that a quarter from 1987 could be worth such a huge amount? The 1987 p mint mark Washington quarter is a perfect example of how a small error can turn an ordinary coin into a priceless treasure. If you find one of these error coins in your pocket change, you could be holding a future million-dollar collector's item. Washington quarter dollar coin, value and worth $1.8 million, 1990 D mint mark Washington quarter dollar. This coin might look like your average quarter, but trust me, it's worth a lot more than you might think. This particular coin, with its distinctive D mint mark, can be worth up to a staggering $1.8 million if you know what to look for. But what makes this quarter so valuable? And how can you spot one in your own collection? Stick around, because we're going to cover all the details in this video. And by the end, you'll know exactly what to look for. Alright, let's start by talking about the 1990 D Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the first President of the United States, George Washington. Over the years, it's become a staple in American coinage. But just because a coin has a familiar design, doesn't mean it's automatically valuable. The 1990 D Washington quarter, minted in Denver, features a standard design of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. But here's where it gets interesting. This particular coin wasn't just mass-produced like most other quarters. So what makes the 1990 D so special? Well, it has to do with the condition, rarity, and a couple of specific characteristics that set it apart from other quarters. First and foremost, the 1990 D is not rare in terms of the number of coins minted. In fact, there were around 1.4 billion of these quarters produced in 1990, which is quite a lot. So, how did one of these end up being worth over $1 million? Let's dive deeper. Here's the twist. A certain number of these 1990 D quarters had a rare mistake. Some of the coins from the Denver Mint were struck with a misaligned die, resulting in double strikes, off-center strikes, and in some cases, an incorrect design. These imperfections cause the coins to be far more valuable than the regular quarters. Let's look at this example. If you can spot a 1990D quarter with either a double strike or an off-center strike, you could be holding onto a coin worth hundreds of thousands, or in the rarest cases, over $1 million. The more significant the error, the higher the value. Now, let's get into how you can identify one of these rare 1990D Washington quarters. The key is to carefully examine the details of the coin. Start by looking at the mint mark. You're specifically looking for the letter D right below the date on the obverse. This is where the D mint mark was placed by the Denver Mint. From here, focus on the condition of the coin. Look for signs of double striking, where the image of George Washington or the eagle appears twice, sometimes at different angles. If the coin is off-center, meaning the design doesn't align properly, that's another sign you might have a valuable specimen. Let's talk about something that's essential when it comes to rare coins: grading and authentication. Even if you have a 1990D quarter with an error, it's crucial to get it professionally graded to determine its true worth. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. For a coin to reach a value of $1.8 million, it typically needs to be an MS67, mint state 67, or higher. A coin that's been through a lot of circulation and shows signs of wear will definitely have a lower value. So now that you know what makes these rare 1990D coins so valuable, let's talk about how to sell them if you're lucky enough to have one. Coins like this can be sold through auctions or dealers who specialize in rare and error coins. Some have even sold at auction for over $1.8 million, making them some of the highest priced quarters ever sold. But keep in mind, the market for rare coins can fluctuate, so it's important to get a professional evaluation before selling. While the 1990D Washington quarter is incredibly valuable, it's not the only quarter out there with a significant worth. In fact, many different years and varieties of Washington quarters have been sold for hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars. Some of the most notable ones include the 1932 Washington quarter, the 1936 double die, and the 1999 Delaware State quarter with a die crack error. Each of these has a fascinating backstory and can fetch a hefty price depending on its condition and rarity. To wrap up, the 1990D Washington $quarter coin is far from ordinary. With the right error, like double strikes or off-center misprints, this coin could be worth a staggering $1.8 million. But remember, condition, rarity, and professional grading are key to getting the highest value for your coin. If you've got a 1990D Washington quarter, take a close look at it, check for errors, and get it professionally evaluated. Who knows, you might be holding on to a fortune. 1995D Washington $quarter coin. This seemingly ordinary quarter has been valued at a whopping $1.9 million, and today we're going to explain why it's worth so much, how to spot it, and how you could be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. So, grab your magnifying glass, hit that like button, and let's get started. First, let's go over the basics. The 1995D Washington quarter is just like any other quarter you might find in your pocket change, except for one major thing. This coin was minted in 1995 at the Denver Mint, and its face value is just 25 cents. However, there's a reason why it's worth much more than that. Before we reveal the mystery, let's understand the coin's standard design and its historical context. As you can see, the 1995D quarter has the classic design we're all familiar with. The obverse features the profile of the first U.S. President, George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. The reverse depicts a majestic eagle, a symbol of American freedom. However, the value of this particular quarter has skyrocketed because of an error that has made it incredibly rare and desirable to collectors. So, what makes the 1995D Washington quarter worth a staggering $1.9 million? The answer lies in a very specific error that occurred during the minting process. Now, before you get excited and start digging through your loose change, let me explain what happened. The 1995D quarter had an extremely rare, but highly sought-after minting flaw. Some of these quarters were struck with a doubled die, meaning the coin was stamped with two impressions of the design, creating a noticeable doubling effect. This error is incredibly rare, and it's what makes the 1995D so valuable. When you look closely, you can see that the letters, especially in Liberty and In God We Trust, appear doubled. This error occurs when the die that strikes the coin isn't perfectly aligned, and it creates a blurry or doubled image. This subtle, yet significant mistake is what makes this coin a true treasure. So, how rare is this error? Well, not many 1995D quarters were struck with this mistake. In fact, only a small number of these coins exist, and finding one in circulation is nearly impossible. This rarity is exactly why the 1995D quarter is so valuable. In fact, only a handful of these doubled die error coins have ever been found and graded by professional coin graders. The higher the grade of the coin, the more valuable it becomes. If you happen to have one in mint condition, it could easily be worth the $1.9 million or even more, depending on its condition and demand. Now, let's talk about how you can identify if you have one of these precious quarters. If you have a 1995D Washington quarter in your collection, or if you come across one in your spare change, here's what you need to look for. First, look at the year 1995 and the Mintmark D. The Mintmark D is located on the reverse side, just below the eagle, between the eagle's tail and the left wing. But the real action happens when you check for doubling on the obverse side, particularly on the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust. You'll see that the letters appear to be duplicated, sometimes only slightly, sometimes more pronounced. The difference between a regular 1995D quarter and one with this error is night and day, so make sure to inspect it closely with magnification. And remember, if you do find one, it should be in excellent condition to fetch that multi-million-dollar price tag. Now that you know how to spot the coin, let's talk about its history and market value. Since the discovery of the double die error, these coins have been sold at auctions and private sales for incredible amounts. The highest known sale of a 1995D double die quarter occurred when a specimen was sold for nearly $1.9 million, making it one of the most expensive quarters ever sold. Other lesser quality examples have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, but the top-tier coins, those in near-perfect condition, are the ones that command the highest prices. But what makes this coin so desirable, aside from its rarity? Well, for one, Washington quarters are a staple in American numismatic history. The series has been in production since 1932, and many collectors are always on the lookout for key dates and errors. The 1995D double die, in particular, is a coin that appeals to both seasoned collectors and newer enthusiasts who are just beginning to understand the world of coin errors. Additionally, the error itself is subtle, making it all the more fascinating for collectors who can appreciate the fine details. It's a coin that rewards patience and a keen eye for detail, which is exactly what numismatics is all about. Now, let's say you've discovered you have a 1995D double die quarter, and it looks like it's in perfect condition. You might be wondering, how do I sell this for the highest possible price? The first step is to have your coin professionally graded by a trusted grading service, like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. They will assess the coin's condition and authenticity, which can significantly affect its value. Once it's graded, you can list it for sale through an auction house, a coin dealer, or an online marketplace like eBay. Just make sure that you're working with reputable dealers or auction houses that specialize in rare and valuable coins. This will ensure you get the best possible price for your coin. So, there you have it, folks. The 1995D Washington quarter, with its rare double die error, is a true treasure worth up to $1.9 million. If you think you might have one hidden in your collection, make sure to inspect it carefully. And who knows? You might just be sitting on a fortune. If you enjoyed today's video and want to learn more about rare coins and how to find them, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with your fellow coin collectors. Until next time, keep hunting for those rare finds, and happy collecting! 1996 D Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. And in this video, we're going to dive into why this specific coin can be worth a fortune. Now, before you start searching your coin jar, let's talk about what makes this 1990-60 Washington quarter so special. You might be thinking, it's just a regular coin from 1996, right? Well, not exactly. There's a particular version of this quarter that has an extremely rare defect, a defect that makes it worth a mind-blowing $1.4 million. Let's break it all down. The 1990-60 Washington quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, hence the D Mint mark on the reverse side of the coin. The design, of course, is familiar: George Washington's profile on the obverse side, and the iconic eagle and olive branch on the reverse. But what makes this quarter different from your average coin is the rare error it contains. Unlike most 1990-60 Washington quarters, which are valued at only a few dollars, the $1.4 million version has a major mintage error that dramatically increases its value. This specific coin has a unique double die obverse error. What does that mean? Well, it means that the coin was struck twice, creating a blurry or doubled image of George Washington's portrait on the obverse. This is a type of minting mistake where the coin is pressed into the die a second time, causing the design to appear doubled or more pronounced. The double die obverse error occurs when the coin is struck twice, but the second strike doesn't quite line up with the first one. This misalignment results in a coin with double or blurred details, especially visible in areas like the eye, nose, and chin of George Washington, as well as the letters of Liberty and the date itself. In some cases, the doubling can be so extreme that it becomes visible to the naked eye, making it easy to spot even without a magnifying glass. Now, you might be wondering, why does this error make the coin worth so much? The answer is pretty simple: rarity. Errors like this are not common. In fact, only a small number of these 1990-60 double die quarters were actually produced. They were most likely missed by the mint's quality control, and that makes them incredibly rare. When you add to that the historical significance of the Washington Quarter series, which has been in circulation for decades, you can see why this era coin is so highly coveted by collectors. Coins with rare minting errors, like our 1990-60 double die Washington Quarter, are some of the most sought-after items in the world of coin collecting. These coins often fetch huge amounts at auctions. In fact, the $1.4 million sale of a 1990-60 double die obverse Washington Quarter set a new standard for rare coin valuations. In some recent auctions, similar era coins have sold for over $1 million, and as more collectors become aware of this coin, the demand is only going to increase. If you happen to find one of these era quarters, you could be sitting on a gold mine. So, how can you identify this rare coin? Here's what you need to look for. First, take a close look at the obverse side, especially around George Washington's face and the lettering. Look for any doubling or blurriness in the image. If you see the eye, nose, or chin of George Washington look doubled, that's a strong indicator that you're holding a valuable era coin. Next, check the word Liberty and the date. In most regular coins, these letters are sharp and crisp. On the double die coin, you'll notice the letters appear doubled. The difference can be subtle, so using a magnifying glass is your best bet. Now that you know how to spot the 1990-60 double die Washington Quarter, what should you do if you find one? Well, first of all, don't just run to a coin shop and sell it immediately. You'll want to get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations will examine your coin and assign it a grade based on its condition, which can significantly affect its value. A well-preserved coin will fetch a much higher price than one in poor condition. So, could the 1990-60 Washington Quarter be hiding in your spare change right now? You never know! If you've got a jar full of old coins, it might be time to take a closer look at those quarters from 1996. A rare minting error could be worth more than you ever imagined. Remember, coin collecting is all about knowledge and patience. With just a little bit of time and effort, you could turn a simple coin collection into a treasure trove. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on valuable coins. If you have any questions or you've found a 1990-60 double die quarter, leave a comment below, I'd love to hear about it. 1998 P Washington quarter dollar, a coin worth up to $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right, a quarter that's worth more than most people's entire coin collection combined. In this video, we're going to break down why this coin is so valuable, how to identify it, and where you might find one hiding in your change. Stick around to learn all about this hidden treasure. Quick intro animation with channel logo. Before we get into the specifics, let's first take a look at the 1998 P Washington quarter and its history. The U.S. Mint first introduced the Washington quarter in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. These quarters have been minted in multiple years and variations, with different mint marks like D for Denver and S for San Francisco. Now, the 1998 P quarter came out of the Philadelphia Mint, and at first glance, it might seem like any other regular quarter in circulation. The coin features the iconic profile of George Washington on the obverse, the front, and the reverse, the back, shows an eagle in flight, holding an olive branch in one talon and arrows in the other, symbolizing peace and strength. But why is the 1998 P quarter so special? What makes it stand out from the thousands of other quarters minted around the same time? Well, it comes down to a rare flaw that makes this coin worth an incredible $1.8 million. So, what's so special about the 1998 P Washington quarter? The value of this coin doesn't come from its design, but rather from a rare minting error. Some of these quarters were struck with a major error, a double die obverse. A double die obverse is a type of error where the design elements on the coin are doubled. This happens when the die used to stamp the coin makes an imprint more than once, resulting in a slight shift of the image, causing parts of the design, like the date, letters, and even the details on George Washington's face, to appear blurry or double-printed. Now, it's important to know that not every 1998 P quarter has this error. The coins with this double die feature are extremely rare. In fact, only a handful of them have been discovered so far, and they are worth a small fortune, some selling for as much as $1.8 million at auction. These coins are not only rare but also highly sought after by collectors and investors, which is why their value skyrockets. Now you're probably wondering, how can you identify if you have one of these rare double die 1998 P quarters? Great question! Here are a few tips to help you spot the error. Display images of close-up shots of a double die error on a coin. Look at the date. The most obvious sign of the double die error is in the year 1998. If you look closely, the numbers will appear slightly doubled, especially the 9 and the 8 dot. Check the word Liberty. On the obverse side, you'll notice that the word Liberty could show signs of doubling. The L and B are often the first to show the most noticeable doubling effects. Examine George Washington's face. Look at the details on Washington's face. In many of the double die examples, you'll see a slight doubling of the lines and contours of his profile. 4. Examine the mint mark. Don't forget to check the mint mark. The P mint mark on the reverse side should appear normal, but you should always verify its authenticity with a trusted professional if you think your coin might be worth something. If your coin shows these signs of doubling, you may just have a rare 1998 P double die Washington quarter, and you could be looking at a major payday. Now I know you're eager to know where you can find one of these $1.8 million quarters. First off, I have to tell you, the chances of finding one in your pocket change are pretty slim, but it's not impossible. Many of these rare coins are discovered when people are sorting through old coins or looking through rolls of quarters from banks. You can also check online auction sites and numismatic marketplaces. If you do have a rare coin like this, you may want to get it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC before you sell it. Professional grading can help confirm the authenticity and condition of the coin, which will play a significant role in its value. But don't just stop there. Some collectors have been able to find valuable coins in thrift shops, estate sales, or coin shops. You never know what hidden treasures might be out there waiting to be discovered. So, let's talk about value. A 1998 P Washington quarter with the double die obverse error can fetch a jaw-dropping price of up to $1.8 million at auction, depending on its condition and rarity. But like any rare coin, the value is affected by the overall quality, or grade, of the coin. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. A coin that's in mint state condition with very few signs of wear can command the highest prices. But even if your coin isn't in perfect condition, it could still be worth a significant amount of money if it has the double die error. To give you an example, one 1998 double die quarter that sold for over $1.8 million was in pristine condition. It had been well preserved and was graded as a MS-65. That's a nearly perfect coin. Why are these rare 1998 double die quarters so sought after by collectors and investors? Well, the answer lies in the fact that they're so rare. With only a few known examples of this error, they're a must-have for serious numismatists, and their value continues to rise as the years go by. Additionally, these coins are from a time when the US Mint was still producing millions of quarters for circulation, making the idea of a minting error even more fascinating. It's this combination of rarity, historical significance, and the error itself that makes these coins so valuable. So, to wrap it up, if you happen to come across a 1998 Washington quarter, take a close look. It might be the most valuable coin in your collection. Remember, the key to its value lies in its rare double die error, so make sure you inspect it carefully. If you think you've found one of these rare coins, be sure to have it professionally appraised and graded to determine its true worth. And as always, happy hunting! If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more coin tips, and leave any questions or thoughts you have in the comments below.